Hey Grandma, it's Brendan. So today we're going to talk about the very basics of, using a mouse, navigation on your desktop, and some basic terms. So basically we'll go through a few terms to start off. The desktop is what we're looking at here. It's all this that's going on. This is your hub of activity to get you from place to place on your computer. This little thing that's going around, kind of zipping around the screen, that is the cursor. It's the thing that you will use to access things. It is your connection to the computer interface. Some other terms, one of these is an icon. This is an icon right here. If you click on it, it will bring you to the program. They're also called shortcuts because if you click on it, it'll bring you right to it very quick. Some other things, a folder. You can make a folder, and we'll talk about that later, to hold multiple shortcuts and icons or different documents, and hold them all in one place. And we'll continue going on through terms later on. The main device that you should be using right now is a mouse. There should be, on a standard mouse, there are 3 buttons: the left click, the right click, and the middle mouse button. So the left click is primarily used to select things. What that means is when I click on something, I will select it. See, that's selected now. There is an outline, and now this icon is selected. And I can click again to anywhere on the screen to deselect it. I can select multiple things at once by holding down the left button and dragging this big box around, so I can select 2 things at once. I can select one thing and then hold down my mouse to drag it around, so you can organize the icons on your screen. You probably won't have as many as I do right now because I kind of have a lot going on, but when you get more icons, it'll be helpful to be able to move them around. So that's done by just holding down the left mouse button and dragging it around. The left mouse button is also used for opening things with a double click. Oh, and I'll just mention before I forget, whenever I click, a little red bubble kind of pops up around my cursor. That is because I have a special setting on my recording program that it lets you know when I click on something. So when I click, a little red bubble will come up. On your computer, it will not do that. It will not show up like that. But for the purpose of teaching, making it a little clearer, when I click, that little red bubble will pop up. So what I was saying was, by double clicking twice quickly, you open things. So I have a folder right here. It is called Games. I just dragged it out by holding down the left button and dragging it around. If I double click it, it opens it up, and these are all my games. I'll do that again really quick. Just a quick double click, and it pops up. This is my folder. It holds all my games in it right there. Alright, so I'll put that back. Now, the right click is a little different. You cannot double click a right click. Instead, it's used to, it brings up a whole bunch of options. If I were to left click an icon, it would bring me all the things that I can do with that folder. The top one is open, and that's what we can do with a left click, but with a right click it brings up a whole bunch of other options that aren't really important right now. We're not going to worry about that. But if you right click onto nothing like this, it'll still give you a bunch of options. Some notable ones are new, and if you hover over new, it'll give you a few more options. Oh, I will mention, if you see these little arrows right here, that means there are more options. So if you hover over it, a few more things will pop up, like here and here, but not here. There's no arrow, so no more options will pop up. So I'm going to go back down to new because that's the most helpful. So I'm hovering over new, and if I slide the cursor over, I can get a whole bunch of different things. Now be careful, if you put your cursor out here, sometimes it will disappear. So you have to be careful to keep your cursor on the right thing. So I can make a new folder, can make a new shortcut, a few other things. The most important two things that you need to know how to create a new form of is a folder and a text document. A folder will help you organize, like I have over here and here and here. And a text document, when it pops up, I can double click on it, and it's just helpful for writing things. So I can just type anything right into there. So this is not like Microsoft Word or any other of the Microsoft Office programs, because all you can do is really just type into it, and there's not that many options. You can save it, but that's just about it. It's not as useful as Office, so when we get to Office I'll explain that further. If you want to just leave yourself memos, that's helpful too. So I'm going to, if you want to save it, you can go to File, which is in the upper left hand corner of your box here, and just go to Save. If you want to choose where you save it, you go to Save As, and that goes for anything that you want to save. If you can click on Save, and then it'll just send it to the default storage area. If you go to Save As, like I will, you can choose where to send it. Now I like to save things on the desktop, which once again is what we're looking at right now, because I can see it very easily and then move it into a folder, so I can access it very easily. So I'm just going to change this file name to Hello Grandma, and I did that by clicking on the file name, and then I just click Save. So now I can close this, and if I open that up, if I open, it saved it separately. If I open up, it dropped it down right over there. If I open that up, it still says Hello Grandma. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Delete. Oh, so that was another thing that you can do with left click. Once again, on icons, if you right click on an icon, you get sent with lots of different options like open, print. Also, very important, is delete and rename. If you want to delete something, all you have to do is click on delete right here. And renaming is also important because you can rename what it says. So we're just going to quickly do that right now. Rename, and you can see that blue box has kind of popped up over the letters here. So that means that is highlighted, and that is what we're going to change. So now we just type in to the computer. I'm going to say, call it a note instead, and then I just press enter to save that, and that is changed. So we'll leave that over there. So what I talked about was left clicking is for selecting things. You can do that with a box. It's also for opening things, like so. Click that X to get rid of that. The right is for bringing up more options on an icon, and it's also, if you don't click on an icon, it will bring up these things that you can do. Most importantly is new. Also, if you want to personalize, this is where you would change your background right here and some other things. Now I think it's important that you kind of play around with your computer and kind of figure out some things for yourself. That's also very important about learning how to use a computer, is trying to figure out how the computer works by using it yourself a little bit. So my homework is to left click, personalize, and try to change your desktop background. That's my homework. If you can't do it, that's fine. I'll go over it next time. But if you can do it, that's great. That means you kind of understand a little bit about how computers work. Alright. We also have to go over the middle mouse button. It doesn't really do much now. It's mostly used for scrolling. So let's say I put in a lot of enters and I made this document very large. Now you could scroll by using the left click and grabbing onto this bar right here and dragging it up and down. So I go all the way back to the top. You see it says hello grandma right there. And then drag your really far down. I'm at the bottom of the document. But you can also use the scroll wheel. So if you push it forward, it'll go up to the top, hello grandma, and if I go in the opposite direction, it'll go down. And that's really all it's used for. There's also some handy tricks. If you push down on it in the internet, it will allow you to scroll much faster, but we won't worry about that now, and I won't save. That's just a helpful little pop-up. Okay, I think that's it. We've been going on for about 14 minutes, so I'll stop that right there, and I will see you next time.